The Eagles enter day 3 of the NFL draft armed with 6 picks, 2 in the 4th round, 3 in the 5th round, 1 in the 6th round. And they've got some work to do, Fran, after only adding 2 players on the first 2 days of the draft. Let's sort of go through position by position some players who might make sense to them.
Sure.
We kind of got to start at quarterback.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that the Eagles can pull the trigger on Shedeur Sanders?
When it comes to quarterback, I don't think you can ever rule it out, especially when you get to this point. When you get to a certain stage of the draft with a player of Shedeur's talent, which there is starting upside there. You know, I know that the tape is not. I've said in the past, like, it doesn't blow you away with the starting upside, but there's plenty to work with there. I'm very surprised that it has taken this long for him to come off the board. We'll see. At some point, you might get to a stage where Howie Roseman and the Eagles say, you know what, even like sight unseen, because they haven't spent much time with him, say like it's worth the grab at this point, especially when you have 6 picks on day 3.
And you think about some of the reasons that teams might be skittish about adding a player like Shedeur Sanders. The things that a team might not be looking for from Shedeur Sanders is like, too much media distraction, right?
Yeah.
Well, you got Jalen Hurts. You don't need to be worried about, him being overtaken by that.
Yeah.
Eagles have the infrastructure. I don't think it's crazy, especially with all these picks that they have.
I don't think so. No, I think that when you look at some of the things that might scare off a less secure front office, a less secure coaching staff, a less secure quarterback, you're not worried about that here in Philadelphia.
All right, let's talk running back, which is probably as deep a group that remains in this draft. A lot of guys available. Tell me who you think makes sense for the Eagles here. I'll throw some names at you. Bashal Tutin from Virginia Tech has some explosive testing numbers. Cam Scadaboo from Arizona State. Everybody loves to watch him play.
Yeah.
DJ Giddens from Kansas State. Brashard Smith from SMU. Some people like Devin Neal from Kansas. Trevor Etienne. And then a couple players the Eagles brought in for pre-draft visits. LaQuint Allen from Syracuse and Jaydon Blue, the ball carrier from Texas.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to what you're looking for and what you want to add into the backfield with Saquon Barkley. Obviously, you move on from Kenny Gainwell. Do you want somebody that can come in and be that bit player on third down, on passing downs, that can chip in as a receiver and as a pass protector? Well, LaQuint Allen from Syracuse makes some sense. Jaydon Blue as a pass catcher, outstanding athlete, really dynamic. There are a lot of qualities there that you can really get attached to with both players. Not a lot of carries on their body. They have plenty of tread left on the tires. But let's say you want more of an innings eater, right? You want somebody that can come in and get those early down carries, take some of the load away from Saquon Barkley on those early downs. Well, that's where you can get into Cam Scadaboo. That's where you can get into Damian Martinez from Miami. There are a handful of backs available throughout this draft when we get to day 3 that fit both skill sets or either skill set. And so it comes down to what the Eagles want in that backfield.
Eagles have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, obviously, at wide receiver. They've got Jahan Dotson for 1 more year in his rookie contract. Drafted Johnny Wilson and Aniyah Smith last year. But they could add to that group if somebody's at the top of their board. Alec Ayomanor from Stanford is a possibility. Jalen Lane from Virginia Tech. And Torrey Horton from Colorado State. Who jumps out to you there?
Honestly, all 3 of them I gave the same grade to. I think all 3 of them have the ability to be starting receivers in the NFL. They're different body types and different skill sets. I think when you're looking at Horton and Ayomanor, both guys more of your prototypical outside receivers, bigger bodies, have the ability to get off press coverage and work vertically down the field. I think with Horton, the reason why he's available here on day 3 is that he's coming off an injury. He got hurt midway through the season, so we didn't get to see him throughout the course of the pre-draft process. But the tape's impressive. He's had a very productive career over his time with the Rams at Colorado State, one of Zach's favorite college football teams, of course. Ayomanor, he's got the height, weight, speed, but with him, it's been an issue of just being consistent at the catch point. A lot of drops, the ball skills issues, ball tracking issues down the field. So I think when you're looking at both of those players, that's why they would fall. When you're looking at Jalen Lane from Virginia Tech, this is a guy that has primarily been a slot player for the Hokies over the last 2 seasons. A lot of gadget plays, a lot of underneath routes, wide receiver screens. So you think, that's kind of what he is. But you watch him at Middle Tennessee State his first couple years, and he was an outside the numbers receiver and a vertical threat. So he can do a little bit of everything. I'm surprised that he's still on the board. He went to the combine and blew the combine out of the water. I've heard nothing but great reviews. I actually spoke to a member of that coaching staff, and he raved about Jalen Lane. So yeah, I'm surprised that he's on the board still.
At tight end, we don't have any Dallas Goedert resolution yet, and a bunch of that high-end guys went on the first 2 days of the draft. We have talked about Howie Roseman on day 3. He's not looking for guys to fill out the roster. He's looking for guys who have starting upside. So among Gavin Bartholomew and Mitchell Evans and Gunnar Helm from Texas, Jake Briningstool from Clemson. You like Jackson Hawes from Georgia Tech. Anybody stand out as a potential starting caliber tight end?
Yeah, I mean, Evans is probably in terms of the dual skill set, someone that can help as both a pass catcher and as a blocker is probably the best option there. I would say he's solid in both areas, but maybe not great in either. I think when you're looking at Briningstool from Clemson, he gives you the most upside as a pass catcher, maybe Gunnar Helm as well from Texas. But maybe the most dominant singular trait of this group that's left is Jackson Hawes as a blocker. He's just not giving you a ton as a pass catcher. And so there's give and take there. And I don't think any of these guys are coming in to replace Dallas Goedert 1-for-1. You're not getting to that when you get to day 3 of the draft. But all of these guys, you throw in Jalen Conyers from Texas Tech as well, a nice movement piece. There are players available that can come in and help your football team. Replacing Dallas Goedert is another story.
Offensive line, Eagles always looking to add some depth there. There are a couple players there who they brought in for pre-draft visits, including Jalen Travis from Iowa State and Marcus Mbow from Purdue. We're also throwing out Cameron Williams from Texas, Miles Frazier from LSU, Jackson Slater, Jalen Rivers. Anybody pop for you there as a possible Jeff Stoutland type guy?
There are a handful because a lot of these guys have proven versatility. You mentioned Jalen Rivers from Miami, 5-position flex. You have center, guard, tackle, left, right. He's done it all. So that is a very attractive trait for Jeff Stoutland. Miles Frazier, he from LSU, he has played 4 different positions. He's played both tackles and both guards. Very attractive moving forward into the NFL. Marcus Mbow, he's got the special trait. His athleticism is special, like a unique athlete at the position. He's a developmental player, though. He's only started a couple seasons at Purdue at right tackle. He's got short arms and a soft anchor. He does not hold the pocket all that well. So if you're going to move him into guard, he's going to struggle right away. I don't know that he's got that ability to be a center. Some people view that physically that he can be a center, but I don't quite see it there. I think when you're looking at Marcus Mbow, he's more of a developmental piece. You mentioned Cameron Williams, only a 1-year starter. He is that perfect moldable ball of clay. How long is it going to take for him to reach his upside? Is he ever going to reach his upside? I think that's a question with Cameron Williams. Then the other player that I would mention would be Jalen Travis from Iowa State, who also was reportedly in for a 30 visit. He's got left tackle and right tackle experience, a high school basketball player, goes to the Ivy League at Princeton, starts there, then moves to Iowa State this past year. And again, he's got left tackle, right tackle versatility. Big, powerful human being. He's got the ability to create movement in the run game.
I'm going to fast track the edge conversation for us here.
Yep.
2 players the Eagles brought in for pre-draft visits, Elijah Roberts from SMU and Tyler Barron from Miami of Ohio. Yeah. What are those guys like?
They're actually very different, which is interesting. I think with Roberts, he is more of your like tough, physical lunch pail, really good hands at the line of scrimmage.
First or second down.
Yeah, I think so. Now, he's had double-digit sacks each of the last 2 years, so he's got a little bit of pass rush savvy to him. He's just not your explosive guy off the ball that's going to win with speed and quickness. Now, when you look at Barron, he's got more of that juice off the ball. He's got a fluid athlete. He can get out of his stance, but he also can drop in space as well. Barron is an intriguing athlete that just hasn't put it all together yet as a rusher. I do think there's something there. I gave him a solid grade coming out of Miami based off the film.
Defensive tackle. I would be surprised if the Eagles don't add at least one defensive tackle with this glut of picks on day 3. This position has been thinned out a little bit, but in the past, the Eagles will shoot for upside at this position. So Jordan Phillips from Maryland, Joshua Farmer from Florida State, Cam Jackson, different type of player, more of a nose tackle from Florida, Ty Robinson, older player from Nebraska, but explosive testing results, and then Deion Walker from Kentucky, who has sort of that starting upside, could pop. Maybe a Howie Roseman type guy.
Yeah, a couple guys there. I mean, we would be remiss if we didn't start with Deion Walker. He's one of Zach's favorite players. True junior from Kentucky. Had a huge sophomore season. Fell off a bit from production standpoint. Just inconsistent play. Unique body type and athleticism, but the tools in his body to be an impactful player. I think we should also mention Tyrion Ingram Dawkins as well from Georgia. He's got the Milton Williams skill set of is he a defensive end? Is he a defensive tackle? A little bit of a hybrid body, but at 280 pounds, went to the combine and tested pretty well. Only a 1-year starter at Georgia. Modest production, but that's a player with that hybrid skill set that you can mold. And Ty Robinson, while he's older, went to the combine and tested pretty well. I thought the Senior Bowl was just okay, but the senior film was pretty solid overall. Workman-like player that can chip in, but you question the starting upside.
Possible the Eagles double dip at linebacker and safety after drafting Jihaad Campbell and Andrew Mukuba, but we'll skip over those for now. Let's finish with corner, where You know, you could use some depth on the outside. You could also try to find an Avonte Maddox replacement to give you some flexibility if you want to move Cooper DeJean to the outside. So let's talk through some names. Tommy Hill from Nebraska, who you like a lot.
Yeah.
Denzel Burke from Ohio State. Quincy Riley, Mac McWilliams, Kobe Bryant, not that one, and Bilal Coney. What do you think?
I mean, Tommy Hill would be a very exciting selection. This is a player, when I watched him on film, to me, it was reminiscent of Trayvon Diggs, was reminiscent of Xavier Howard. Now, the big thing is that he'd only played a handful of games early on in the year when he was healthy, came down with a case of plantar fasciitis. They shut him down for a couple weeks. He wanted to come back out in the field, and then had a couple of bad games where he clearly just was not healthy. There was a lingering issue with him with the foot, affected his speed. He got beat for some touchdowns. They said, we're going to sit you on the bench for the rest of the year. Didn't work out at the Combine. Senior Bowl, he tried to gut it out and play down there. It was an up and down week, but this is a physical kid with ball skills and instincts. I love that. He was a freak list athlete. He would have tested well had he been able to go through the pre-draft process. A bigger corner. I think this is a fine place to be able to end up with a player like Tommy Hill, who I think has starting upside.
And a guy who is proud enough of himself to like hold up the number one, like I'm the guy, you know, the Tommy Hill finger.
I think that that's probably in the scouting report. I think that it ended with that. Just well done on your part. Yes, thank you. Let's throw in Mac McWilliams.
Okay.
You talk about like the Avonte Maddox avatar there. I think with McWilliams out of Central Florida. His film was pretty good. He went to the Senior Bowl, had a really good week, and we know that that's something that is important to the Eagles and to Howie Roseman. So he goes down to the Senior Bowl, good week. I thought the film was solid. He's played inside and outside, undersized, so similar profile there to Avonte Maddox.
Sounds like a 90s white rapper. Mac McWilliams.
Do that one more time. Look right into the camera, though.
Mac McWilliams. Your boy. Yeah. There you go. We'll have it all covered for you on the PHLY Draft Show. We're live throughout all of the rounds, 4, 5, 6, 7. If they create an 8th round tomorrow, we'll be here for it. Fran Duffy, the ALLCITY NFL draft expert. Zach Berman will join us, the Eagles Insider. I'm Mbow Wolf. We hope you join us. That's it. Players to watch on day 3. Who you got?